All right, the first step is to download and install Android Studio. Visit developer.android.com/studio and download the Android Studio version that's right for you. Once it's installed, go ahead and run it. You'll get this window right here. From here, go to Configure and SDK Manager. The SDK Manager pops up. I would recommend downloading a few different SDKs. Android's a little bit tricky sometimes when it comes to differences in SDKs. Try to go with a newer API version, but you don't necessarily need the newest, latest, and greatest. Personally, I'm using Android 8 through 5.1 for testing. Next, go ahead and start a new Android project. Just leave the defaults. And you don't really need to change the SDK, but you can if you'd like. Doesn't really matter what sort of activity you choose, just hit next and finish. It'll take a few seconds for Android Studio to open. Once Android Studio opens up, click on this little icon right here. It's the AVD Manager, or Android Virtual Device Manager. It looks like the little Android guy with a phone behind it. It's right on the toolbar. From here, you'll see virtual devices, or if this is your first installation, you will not see any. Go ahead and click Create Virtual Device and create a new phone. I'm using Nexus 5X, but you can use anything you'd like. Go ahead and click Next and configure it with whatever SDK you'd like and click Next again. Give it a name and click Finish. Once your virtual device is in there, you can go ahead and run it by clicking this little green arrow here. The virtual device itself will stir it up, and just make sure it boots all the way before continuing on. This may take a moment as these virtual devices tend to be a little bit slower than an actual phone. All right, the phone's fully booted up and we're ready to work.